Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to talk to you about Shang-Chi. Holy crap, that is a good movie. I just finally watched it and everything. Holy crap. So now I pretty much watched every Marvel movie except for Eternals and that one Hulk movie, which since Hulk was so long ago and I still don't feel like it's truly an MCU movie, even though it technically is, I could care less. And as for Eternals, I just have no reason to want to watch that. I'm just kind of like, okay, whatever. I don't know none of these people. Um, I could care less. Thanos is dead, so like, why do I care? Unless it ties into Kang somehow, but I still don't really care. But holy crap, Shang-Chi was awesome. Boy, oh boy. Like, that took me back right there to the good old days when I used to watch like martial arts, like kung fu movies and stuff. In fact, I haven't watched a martial arts movie since this whole comic book movie craze has like taken over. Cause comic book movies is really the only thing I've been watching like as of lately that's like new. There've been a couple of other stuff, but not really. And so I really miss that good old fashioned, just like hand to hand, foot to foot, like fist to cuff type action, like martial arts, good stuff, boy, like really good stuff. Even though some of it looked like it was a little bit too much wire work and everything, but still, it was good. It reminded me of, like the movies I used to watch with like Jet Li, Jackie Chan, Donnie Yen, like those movies and stuff. And so like, wow. I'm just like, wow. But even though I haven't watched a good martial arts movie in a long time, I have been checking out clips online from movies and stuff. And I prefer stuff like that. None of that like wire work type stuff, but just like straight up like plant your feet, like take your falls kind of stuff. But I have to give it up to like Marvel over this because this was a breath of fresh air, similar to how the Black Panther movie was years ago. Like, it was great seeing like representation. It was great seeing something completely different and new. In fact, this was so different. I didn't even see this as a comic book movie. Like, honestly and really, like, it did not feel like a comic book movie. It just felt like a good old fashioned martial arts kung fu type movie. Because, they do a lot of fantasy stuff too and everything. And I can't even remember the last time I watched a martial arts movie. It was probably what's that movie called with Jet Li and Jackie Chan? Something Kingdom. It might have been that long, and I was in college. I remember I had a friend. And I remember her dearly. Like we could not get along after a while. I'm like, that's it. I'm done. I'm done being your friend. Because she's the type who always has to start like arguments with people and always has to do the man versus woman thing. And it's like no matter what you say, no matter what time of the day is, she just always wanted to start arguments and everything. And so I remember me and her were talking about this movie and how we liked it. But then after a while, I just had to stop being her friend and stuff. So it's probably been since then. And if it wasn't that movie, most likely it was this one I saw with Donnie Yen. I can't remember what it was. All I remember is they did not speak English. I had to read subtitles, and you know how I feel about that. I probably put it on English dub. There was two Donnie Yen movies I watched on YouTube one time. I can't remember what it is, but it had a great fight scene. At the end of the fight, he's fighting with like a knife. No, he's fighting with a police baton that retracts, and this dude's fought with like a knife. And then there was this other one that was based off of some anime where he's like a long lost son or something like that, and he fights alongside these two dudes, and like every time they use their weapons, you see like energy like come out and stuff. Like I can't remember what it's called, but yeah. This also reminded me of why couldn't Avatar: The Last Airbender live action movie be like this? Because it reminded me a little bit of that. The martial arts, the poses, the weird animals and stuff, the hybrid animals. Like, That's how Last Airbender should have been. And if it would have been like that, we would have got sequel after sequel after sequel. But yeah. So one great thing about this movie is that one, it was mature. Like it was straightforward. Even though it had humor in it, it didn't feel like Marvel Disney baby humor. Like that awkward crap that just takes you out. However, there was two times they did add that. Because Marvel has to remind us, hey, you know who we are, right? We're the ones that make you put on your diaper and have to put you in your high chair and eat your baby food and drink your milk and burp you after a while. They have to remind us of that. So they had to throw in two Disney Marvel baby humor in there. But other than that, the actual humor was good. It reminded me of the first Iron Man movie and stuff. Like, you know, because Shang-Chi and Katie, they just like buds. They hang out, they do stuff, they do random crap. They go to karaoke, you know. It's just like, it was like that kind of humor, that mature, reasonable, natural humor and everything. The only time it got to baby humor is when he was explaining his past, and then all of a sudden the stewardess on the airline's all like, beef or vegan? I'm just like, you totally took me out the mood. Like, who are you, Josh Whedon? And then at the very end, when they talking to Wong, they're like, oh, are we good? And then they went to karaoke. I'm just kind of like, I can kind of get that one to pass, but not really, because it was still awkward and everything. And like, speaking of increst, my God, what happened to Mark Ruffalo's hair? It's so gray now. And everything. And so, like, yeah, I love the maturity of it and everything. I love how it was straightforward. I love how it wasn't overly complicated. I love how there was no portal in the sky, you know? I love how there was no, like, well, actually, that last act with all that CGI background, yeah, that was kind of Marvel-ish and comic bookish, but you know, you can excuse that and stuff. And the CGI was like really good, especially on like the evil dragon. Now, the good dragon, the one that's technically is based off of Fing Fang Foom, I would assume the evil one would have been, but no, the good one is weird, whatever. That CGI looked kind of bad. Now, I've seen some good dragons on Harry Potter, so this is no excuse. And stuff. And I love the martial arts and everything. That was great. That really took me back to some good old days, boy. I love the 10 rings. At first, I didn't know how I was going to feel about it because they changed it from 10 actual rings to 10 bands. But the way they used them, that was great. Like, it makes you wonder. The dude is so powerful. When he does enter the MCU as a team up type thing, he should be unstoppable. However, I thought the same thing about Black Panther, and he kind of got his butt whooped a little bit in Endgame, just slightly. He had that cool, like, you know, like running through like the field, like he's in like, you know, a football player with the gauntlet and everything, but he was taken down eventually. And so, like, so it does make you wonder how powerful this dude gonna be in the MCU. Now, I hope they change his costume up a little bit. I didn't like the black on red. I would have preferred gold on red. That's always a nice color, you know what I'm saying? Geez, what else? Oh, the bus fight scene. I don't know how I feel about that. That's the one that should have got me hyped, but because there was so much CGI, it kind of took me out. Only because the CGI and the practical stuff just didn't match up. And it was a little too CGI-ish and everything. What I was gonna say something else. I forgot what. My mind. I'm getting old, man. I'm losing my memory. Let's see. I didn't like the bus. I did like the action. Crap. Don't know. Well, anyway, let me get into characters, whatever. I'm surprised they changed so much of the characters, but they had to, because a lot of these characters that these are based off of are based in racism. Their names alone, the Mandarin, Fing Fang Foom. That's why they had to change it. Now, Shang-Chi's father in the comic, I forget what his name is in the comic, but it's another offensive name. So they had to change things around. And I totally understand that. Although, I did grow up with the Mandarin on the Iron Man cartoon. And I never thought of it as like language or like a food or nothing like that. I always thought of it as this evil man who strikes fear and wants to hurt people. And so part of me kind of wishes they could use his name, but I totally get why they don't. I wish they kind of would have modified Mandarin and called it something else. Um, but whatever. I will say this: the actual Mandarin dude, his father, he never really scared me. He never really struck fear. Like he had this mob organization, but I never feared him. Now, Ben Kingsley, the Trevor dude, who was Mandarin in the third Iron Man movie, that dude had a presence. That dude had fear. I thought he was gonna mess stuff up, and he had a nice robe. I wish this real Mandarin would have worn that. I'm also surprised that they brought in Trevor and they haven't killed him off yet. I mean, he does deserve to die. Let's get that straight. And he was pretending to be a terrorist mob dude. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know, they had to make everybody like him. Now, one thing that did bug me about the Mandarin in this is like I don't like how they made him sympathetic. Just make somebody evil just for the sake of being evil. You know what I'm saying? I would have preferred that. I would have also preferred the nickname, the League of Assassins, or whatever they call it, or the Hand, instead of the 10 Rings. But they go by many names. Aquafina character, Katie, I didn't mind her like some people did. I thought she was pretty cool. This is my first time ever seeing Aquafina act, other than SNL, and she was pretty cool in this. She seemed pretty natural. Like her reactions and her comedy was very, very like natural and stuff. And I liked how him and her are buddies. Like they had that good natural presence, like the original Rhodey and like Tony and stuff. They had like that bud like type thing going on. And she, of course, she's gonna become a love interest at some point, and I don't really mind it. And I wouldn't mind seeing her again. Of course, we're gonna see her again in the next Shang-Chi movie. I would love to see her again because she was pretty cool and everything. However, when it comes to like the bigger picture Marvel team up movies, I don't want to see her. Just like I don't want to see Pepper no more, or what's his name? His Tony's assistant, the big dude played by John Favreau. Same thing with Ned and MJ. I don't want to see them in no like Marvel like Avengers type movie. Just keep the side characters out. It always pissed me off when Pepper showed up in the first Avengers movie. I was okay. When she showed up in the last one, the very last one, because she was rescued, and that's how she is in the comics. But tell you the truth, I didn't mind Katie. I can't say the same about Ned. Ned gets on my nerves in the MCU and stuff. I was surprised to see Wong and Abomination. They kind of felt a little forced in the movie. They was just there for the cameos, the Marvel hype. So when they showed up, I'm like, oh, this is a Marvel movie. I totally forgot. Like if they would have stayed out the movie, and same with Captain Marvel and Bruce Banner at the end, if they would have stayed out the movie, like then it truly would have felt like just a natural movie. But then when they show up, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. This is a MCU movie and stuff. And so I do like how they introduce new characters that I don't know nothing about. And because I don't know who Shang-Chi is and everything. And so that was really cool. You know what I'm saying? Because now I kind of like the dude, but he doesn't even seem like a superhero. He just seems like a natural, average, normal guy. And that's what's so great about it. And so, yeah, I can't wait to see the second movie. Like, my God, that was a good movie and stuff. And so basically what the movie's about is like the Mandarin and his 10 rings. He's fighting their mother, but he falls in love. He makes 2 kids. And so we find out later in the movie, he's been a bad dude and killed a lot of people, but he's changed now. But the mobsters don't care. They go after his family, they kill his wife. He gets revenge, it frightens the son. After that, he starts teaching his son to be fearless. Oh, one thing I forget to mention. Who is the ninja dude with the mask? They never revealed that. Like, is he from the comics or not? I don't know. But anyway, he sends his son on this assassin mission, and he tells his sister he'll be back in 3 days, but never did. At 16, she runs away, and they hold the secrets to getting into some kind of mystical land. And so their father wants to, reunite with them to get into that mystical land. Anyway, he's been living his life normally and everything as a valet, and that's where he met Katie. And so, he gets a note from his sister. He goes to China, and she runs her own underground fighting ring. And so I had a feeling at some point, I'm like, okay, when she's gonna betray him? When is she gonna betray him? But surprisingly, she didn't in the movie until the end. I'll get to that later. And so, they fight and everything, and then he's all like, why did you send for me if you didn't want me here? She's like, I didn't send for you. So he realized, oh, it's the dad. So the 10 Rings go after him and stuff, and they capture them. So the dad starts doing a sympathetic thing and blah, 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 and explaining who he is and stuff like that. And he tells him he wants to go into the mystical land to bring your mother back. She's been talking to me. So, anyways, he puts them in the dungeon. Then we see the fake Mandarin, and then they escape. And I thought that was kind of weird. The sister just knew how to escape. I'm she has to betray them, right? But then, ironically, she didn't. So there's a chase car scene, and so they go to the magical land, and we see Michelle Yeoh. And I love myself some Michelle Yeoh. I was happy to see her in Star Trek, the original JoJo, but then when the Mirror Universe one came, I did not like the Mirror Universe one at all. I didn't like her delivery, how smart mouth she was. It just didn't come off genuine to me. Anyway, it was cool seeing Michelle Yeoh. And so, the Mandarin's been around for 1,000 years. I don't even know if they explain how he's been alive for that long. And same with their mother. They don't really explain. I wish they would have. So after that, they stay, they forge their army. The Mandarin comes in and everything, and it's fighting time. And so everybody's fighting, and it's great. And so the Mandarin's trying to free who he thinks his wife is in the mountain, not before he whoops his son's butt. And then his son falls into the water and is saved by Fing Fang Foom. But that's weird because Fing Fang Foom supposed to be evil. So why isn't he the evil dragon instead of the good one? I don't understand that. Anyway, so he unleashes these tiny dragon things and they're sucking the souls out of people. The bad guys decide, hey, okay, now we are gonna fight alongside you and everything. And so Shang-Chi is alive, he fights his dad some more, tells him, hey, you know what I'm saying, this isn't mom talking to you, it's an evil spirit. And of course it frees itself and it's the evil dragon. So we get 2 dragon fights and everything. The CGI was pretty good on that until it was the dragon alongside the 2 brothers and sister, and then it started to look a little CGI goopy goop. Anyways, Kathy gets a shot in and shoots the thing in the net. They defeat the evil dragon. Of course, the evil dragon kills the Mandarin. Shang-Chi takes possession of the 10 rings. For some reason, the energy color glows a different color when he uses it. It's never explained why. When his dad used it, it's blue. When he used it, it's kind of a goldish red, yellowy kind of color. They don't explain why that's the way it is. Afterwards, they go home and everything, and Wong comes and he's all when you took possession of the 10 rings and everything, it started setting off a signal. It's a beacon. They don't know where. So he tells Kathy and he tells Sean that get ready. Y'all going on a mission. Blah 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 blah. And so that's when we saw Bruce Banner and Captain Marvel and everything, because they're just there just to, like, for the cameo hype. And then there's another end credit scene, and the sister finally betrays them. She takes control of the 10 rings, and I was like, okay, when is she gonna be evil? Like, I know she's gonna be evil. The sister is actually based off of 2 characters in the comic books and stuff. And I'm just like, why is she evil? Like, I don't understand that. But then again, if she had her own underground, like, fighting ring at the age of 16, then yeah, chances are she'll be evil. And then she turned bad, just like Sharon Carter. And I'm just like, why are both of them evil all of a sudden? And they haven't even explained the whole Shawn Carter thing, because she hasn't appeared yet, but she probably might be in a new Captain America movie. I don't know. And so yeah, it was a really, really, really cool movie. And I had my train of thought again, and then I lost it again. Oh, now I remember. I don't understand why Shang-Chi brought Kathy with him. He knew his dad is evil. He knew his dad has this giant mob organization. He knew her life would be put in danger, and he brought her anyway. That made absolutely no sense. But yeah, the side of the building fight with the bamboo sticks and stuff and the scaffolding, that was a good fight. And oh, now I remember my train of thought. The action. I love how engaging it was, how the camera moved and everything. It was like the momentum of it just really kept you hooked and engaged. Cause sometimes in fighting movies, it's always flat with the camera work. It stays in one position, but this one was just like moving around, and it didn't make you dizzy, and you could still figure out what was going on. I really liked that. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.